right, our audio should be going. Want to test on your end?
Testing the audio on my end.
I have indications that on OBS everything's working. So if someone in the chat can just let us know, that'd be great. But yeah, welcome everyone. We got ourselves another live stream. I can't believe we're on, this is episode 25 now.
Dude.
That's a lot, eh? Did you have a feeling that we'd be doing this long?
No. I don't know. Just do it. We just do it.
No,
It's just something we do.
Pardon?
It's just something we do. Sometimes we go, oh, it's Tuesday. We should plan something.
Yeah. No, the card pitch contest has been good because it's always given us a source of something to talk about. We know what we're focused on. So that's really cool. I'm thinking about, oh yeah, Stephen points out that's almost a year's worth of Tuesday nights. That's halfway. Yeah, there's 52 weeks. So we're about halfway through a year, 6 months of doing this. Yeah, that's a season, a TV show season. So we're talking about the card pitch contest. We're going to be going over some of the ideas. We won't have enough time to go over everyone's ideas, but we'll start going through some, giving our opinions. So we will be, we'll try to be brief so we can get through as many of the card ideas as possible. I think our big thing is going to be focusing on how do we get people's current idea to a point that when we go to the selection committee, when we go to the point where we start narrowing things down, your idea has a more opportunities to thrive in the environment, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Before I jump into that, I was just doing an update on the Patreon thing and realized our Patreon numbers are growing. So again, huge thank you, support, shout out to all our Patreon members for helping us get through very difficult 2020 and so far a rather challenging 2021 so already. I'm very grateful for all our Patreon members and to all our future leaguers and everyone who contributes to the pitch contest. It's been really cool, really great to feel the feedback all the time. So thank you to everyone. Any announcements on your end, Alex, or should we just jump into
I was gonna say, no thanks to me, whose card, got a new card and hasn't bothered to update their new card yet. No, let's get on. Let's roll on into it.
All right. So these first several ones, I have no idea who pitched any of these. I haven't actually looked into the contest. I try to keep myself as unbiased as possible here, but unfortunately, one of us had to go through this. And Alex, I think you have a good idea who made these cards, right?
But for some of them, at some point they started mixing them together. But there's certain ones you can tell that all done by one person.
So yeah, these first several came with some artwork. They're pretty. Let's put them up there. But make it known that these are not official Haunted Castle Gaming artwork. These are just great, amazing art pieces that are online. We are not claiming rights to any of them. All right, legal stuff out of the way. Card number 1, Severed Connection, Chaos, 6-chi. All of them are going to be 6-chi. So front, Swift, cast 15 aura, kill target ally summon in the arena. If you do, kill target enemy summon in Severed Connections awareness.
Maybe a little bit of spoilers. You can figure out whose card it is from there. But this is a re-entry. This is a re-entry from last contest.
Yeah.
We were happy with it before.
Yep.
Has anything changed since then? I don't think so.
No, I think it's solid piece. Yeah. You want to just move on?
Let's move on. Let's move on. Card number 2, Vexing Anger. Thymos, awareness forward. Swift, execute 3 energy. Target attack ability, should say played by a summon in Vexing Anger's awareness, deals 3 additional damage. And while the attack ability is on the stack, its target cannot leave the spot it is on.
Interesting.
I do know a little bit of these cards because some people do ask for help with them. Yeah. So I forgot my point I was going to say. Go ahead.
So this is the thing that always catches me on cards like this, is that your opponent can respond to this card in particular. So if you are so target attack ability played by a summon in Vexing Anger's awareness. So it's kind of like what's that one?
Battle Cry. That was my comment. He wanted to make a better Battle Cry. So that was his goal.
Attack goes onto the stack by your summon. Your opponent doesn't respond because it's not going to kill their summon or whatever. And then you respond by playing Vexing Anger. They're like, okay, well then now I'm got a Malicious Persuasion my summon out of the way. Yeah. So not saying there's anything directly wrong with this card. My point more being the chain of command when it comes to these type of cards becomes very tricky. And trying to make a more playable version is something that's challenging. I know it would make the card harder to move forward, but much more playable if this card was immediate.
It was. I think it was originally when first talking to him.
Because I think at the point it currently is, it's a bait card. It's not a like. If it was gonna do the 3 damage, it's gonna do it anyways. And if your opponent was going to avoid it, they're going to avoid it anyways. The second
So part, I think the perception of this card was you're not gonna. So Battle Cry, you just do it and you try and do bonus damage. This, on the other hand, you'll do when your opponent tries to evade, and then it will prevent the evasion. Now, of course, they would be allowed to do a second evasion on top of that. And I directly asked him that. I'm like, is that your intentions? He's like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. If that's the intended purpose and that's the way moving forward, I think it's fine. Again, it comes down to just keep in mind what the action and reaction is to all these cards, and that gives you kind of the gut feeling of them. I would actually separate these in... another suggestion is to separate these into 2 abilities. Have the first one saying target summon cannot move. Target summon in card name Vexing Anger's awareness cannot move, and then a second one that says target if. No, it's complicated. Never mind. Ignore that. Ignore that thought. All right, moving on. Number 3, Aura Recombination. Yeah. Phage, front, action cast. So. For everyone who is working on their awarenesses and don't know what front versus forward mean, reference another card. You can say, Guardian Balance as awareness for front. All right, so text. Target summon gains flight and aerial.
It's supposed to be an enchantment, I believe. Oh, it says enchantment below. Gotcha, but up above it says cast.
Okay. I mean, it could be a spell as long as it doesn't say until end round, but enchantment's cleaner. What needs to be added to this is that and all attack abilities they play gain range.
Yep. Fully agree.
Keep that in mind for anyone who's designing something like this. It's 3 parts: flight, aerial, and range. Because the last thing you want is for your summon to gain flight and aerial, but can't attack back anything that has flight and aerial.
Worst thing you want is a Kun. Nobody wants a Kun in their game.
All right. Hey, you want to do number 4?
I'll do, Prayer of Offering. Bellum, 6G, front and behind. Swift, execute, discard. You must rotate 180 degrees. Choose one. Prevent damage dealt by a card from an enemy champion with chi value. Prevent damage dealt by a card from an enemy champion with a chi value lesser than or equal to the chi of the discarded card till the end of round. Or deal damage equal to the chi's value of the discarded card to everything in Prayer's awareness. So I think this is... I feel like the awareness seems wrong here. I think it's supposed to be forward him back because
Mhm.
he has a 180. He makes you 180 rotate, and then you give it the front and the back. So the front is the all three squares in front of your character, in front of your champion. Just a reminder for anybody out there. But there's too much going on, I think, here.
Yeah.
Way too much. And you need to look at the maximum outcome when you're using these random effects. So on the top end, this is a 6 chi that costs nothing, but can do 8 damage. That's what the top end of this card is.
So
And that's really high for 6 chi.
yeah, yeah.
I think the defensive aspect of this is fine. It's really, I think, when you get to the damage aspect, it's a bit way out of proportion for what it's doing and its cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took me quite a while to understand what this card was doing. I think it's one of those, keep it simple, choose one of these and make it work, compared to doing both abilities.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not even that. It's actually technically 3 abilities here, because you must do 180 degree rotate. That is already ability A. Then you choose one.
Yeah.
Of the two. There's a lot going on here. Clean this up.
Because you're right. Like, rotating 180 alone is not something to scoff about. Because if someone sneaks up right behind you, you can now rotate all the way around and, grab them with a rampage toss. Just very basic, something you can do right there. But it just makes it that when people sneak up, or you can rotate twice and then smoke bomb if you need some distance, or a backflip. So very minor things that already give you some benefit straight off this card. So again, one of those, keep it simple. But yeah, okay, move on.
I'll say one other thing. There might be a flavor fail here because you have both the forward and back awareness. So if somebody comes at you head on, so you're face to face, you then do your prayer of offering and you turn your back to them.
You're like, all right.
But then you do get to prevent it. But it's just a bit weird. Just flavor wise. All right. Card number 5.
Focus shot. So J-Lara, nice. Action, range attack 4, exert. Only played if champion has not moved this round. You deal 4 damage to a target in a location that is located within 2 rows and 2 columns from your current location.
So essentially, it's a radius of 2 around you, I believe.
Okay, so I can see why you can't articulate that with the awareness.
Yeah. I don't know if I lost you or
No, I'm still here. I'm just
thinking it out. Focus shot.
All right. I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate the effort to try to do something really abstract there. I think it's cool. It's a little confusing, but at the same time, kudos for going for it. I think it's one of those things that will need some revisions to see how it works. But overall, it is what it is. It's a cool concept.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Card number 6. Pool of Foresight. Axon. Awareness around. Action. Create 12 aura. When a champion moves into Pool of Foresight's awareness, they may look at the top 2 cards of their timeline and put them back in any order. At the end of the round, if a champion is in Pool of Foresight's awareness and moved on into its awareness this round, draw a card.
Okay, so when you move onto it, look at the top two and put them back in any order. Then round, all right, yeah, there isn't a whole lot I would say needs tweaking about this. Again, it just comes down to wording thing. I know that sometimes it's hard to figure out the little nuance and the little wordings behind things, and I'm not going to say we're perfect at it either. There's been plenty of cards that are published that are going back for erratas or being fixed in other ways. Just try your best, and if you're doing something kind of niche like this, maybe pitch it to the Future League team, to the community, or to me and Alex, and we can help you wordsmith it a little bit. Any thoughts on your end?
I did read. I looked at this one before. I didn't. Now rereading it, I actually got more confused. First time I read it, I wasn't confused because I guess I didn't realize that you have to step off of it and then into the awareness to get the draw effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Card 7, Slashing Mantis or Guardian of Blades. I like Guardian of Blades. Adjacent, so 4 health. We got some summons. Cool. Beckon 12, and then trigger execute. Whenever card name rotates, deal 4 damage divided among any number of targets in awareness. If damage is dealt this way, exert card name.
I think this is cute. It's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's just one of those that just needs testing.
Yeah. Talking about just needs testing, Manticore. Jalara, 63 health, front awareness, action back in 14, and it's just got action area attack 3 and swift range attack 3.
When would you ever need the range attack?
It's just I think it's because it's swift. Because I see what you're saying. It's like if it's an air attack, you don't need range, but if you need to use it as a swift, then you need the range on a aerial.
Yeah, it's cool. It's simple. Yeah. I think the health is a little low. That's the only thing.
I would agree.
Yeah. Try to keep your summons at 4 health if they're in 6 chi. Push it up to 5 if health is really important. Lower it down to 3 if the card is very overwhelming. But this is a card that I think it's fine. Health at 4 and then the attacks at 3. It's like a giant scorpion-esque type of summon. Cool.
Emergent Worm. Card number 9. Thymos. Health 4. Left-right awareness. Action back in 16. Trigger range earth attack. When Emergent Worm enters the arena, it deals 3 earth damage to a target in its awareness. And it has swift earth attack 3. It's essentially a enter arena trigger summon. Yeah, it's a Formosan. I like it. It's cool. Simple. It's clean.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah.
And I did. That's what I said. I was with this contest specifically. These are the type of cards that are simple and clean to go forward. Like, because if they're cards that I'm looking for that are going to go in the set and don't need as much testing, this is the type of card that's like, that's easy. All right.
10 Stasis Walker. Acts on 6 health front. Quick back in, trigger Stasis. When Stasis Walker enters the arena, target summon in Stasis Walker's awareness, gains stationary and pacify. And an action, execute, exert. Target and card name's awareness gains stasis if there's no other enemies with stasis in the arena.
So it's like a super fearmonger.
Okay, so stasis itself is giving someone stationary and pacify.
Yeah.
That's super nested mechanics, but I can wrap my mind around what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Chrono Walker, where Chrono Walker is trying to give more mobility. Here, Stasis Walker is trying to reduce mobility. Yeah. It's cool. It's interesting. It's something I would be interested in moving forward with.
Card number 11. Rotting Golem or Viral Spectre. Brackets. Working on it still. Affiliation page. Health 5. Awareness forward. Cost. Action beckon 18. Swift. Cast 2. Exert. Target in card name's awareness takes 2 dark damage, and if it is a summon, it gains decay. Trigger. When a summon with decay dies, place a skeleton warrior from your subconscious on the spot where the summon was killed, facing the same direction as card name, and exert it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I would say bump the attack up a little bit, but it's cool.
So I think his concern with bumping the attack up is that if you kill the summon on the damage, would that second trigger go off?
No, but the other side to it is this card becomes a lot more situational. Like, yes, you want the trigger to go off, but having a summon that's more powerful in more situations, I think, is what we're looking for at 6G.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you're playing against a fighter who's very low on summons or is only running summons with 1 or 2 health? Then
that's true.
This is a summon that now is consuming a decent amount of your deck because it's taking up the 6G slot and the 4G you put in to counteract it. It's only dealing as much damage as a 4G against champions, at least.
Yeah, that is very true. Very true.
3 damage is fine, and then use it primarily to kill off other 6Gs and get your extra skeleton warrior. That's cool.
Yep. Card number 12.
So assassin creature. You want to do it? You can read.
Go ahead. Okay. Brackets. Working title. Chaos. Health 5. Left, forward, right awareness. Action beckon 15. When card name enters the arena, declare a target enemy summon in the arena as a target. When card name kills the declared summon, its controller draws 2 cards. And it has the action execute exert. Card name may place itself on a spot and in its awareness and deal 3 damage to a target on the same spot. So it has the bunny hop ability without the cost of life for an attack. When you enter, you target an enemy summon. When that summon is killed, an ally champion draws 2 cards. Cleaning up the word a little bit there.
Yeah. So the idea is that first trigger is just as a drawback on the summon, to make it.
It's not a drawback. So it chooses an enemy summon. Then if it kills that summon specifically, then you get to draw 2 cards.
Oh, so if something else kills it, then they don't get to draw the 2 cards?
Yeah.
Interesting loophole. It's interesting. There's nothing about it that I would say needs cleaning up. It'll come down to what are other options there. But interesting. It's definitely cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I see needs particular cleanup. All right, moving on.
No, I agree. Moving on.
All right. Now, I know we're 30 minutes in and we haven't got to... For people who are watching, if you have specific cards that you pitched and you want us to jump to that card, let us know. We'll jump to that card. We'll talk about it. And it may reveal that you're the author on the card. But if you want feedback on a particular card, let us know and we can do that.
And when we say jump, we will frantically try to find it.
Yes, frantic.
All right. Now we've gotten out of pretty picture zone, and now we're going into text land.
Text land for days. Blood portent. I appreciate whoever went with portent. That's a cool word. All right. So chaos costs 3 energy and exert. Awareness front. So Tsunami's awareness. Card type technique ritual. Effect action kill target summon in blood magic's awareness. Different
ally summon.
Ally summon. Okay. Draw X cards and gain X health. If the target's chi is 3 to 5, then x is equal to 1. If the target is 6 to 7, then it's equal to 2. Chi is 8, x is equal to 3. There's a lot going on this card.
What is the speed of this card?
Action.
Action. So I'm trying to figure out when would you play this card? Is the question. I drop an HE and I immediately sacrifice it to gain
3 cards and 3 health.
3 life, draw 3 cards. It's a lot of setup for it's epiphany at that point and gaining 3 life.
Yeah.
And
keep in mind, you had to beckon that HE summon. So, so the cheapest HE summon I can think of is it the Angel?
No. No. Oh, wait, actually, maybe it is.
It is. So Angel Primordial, Lightless. Oh, Yamaraja is your cheapest. 3 health and 3 health and I don't know how much aura.
To be fair, if there was a summon that wants you to kill allies, it's Yamaraja.
But you don't want to kill the Yamaraja. So I think our takeaway is that there's too much complexity in this card and that it's not synergizing with the thing it's trying to do. I would almost like make it swift speed, kill target. No, I don't know. Like, you got to find a good balance for this because this card itself, there's just way too much going on, especially with the X's and the chi of the cards. It's breaking it into so many different layers. Yeah, whoever pitched this, if you get the opportunity, try cleaning this up. Get rid of the X's, make them hard-coded into particular numbers, like draw 2 and gain 2 HP, and have it, kill target ally summon at swift speed, almost. That's my initial gut for that.
We have some requests for specific ones to jump to, so I need you to... Okay. Jeffrey was first, so slide number 20 and 21. We're going all the way to the bottom of the list. Okay. You wanted us to look at Stalker, the creature version of Stalk.
Okay. All right.
And then Slog.
Okay. All right. This one should make me happy. All right. So Stalker, 6 chi, summon, 1 health, 0 attack, already intrigued, 12 aura, affiliation is same, maybe phage. Okay, we could talk about affiliations later. Not 100% sure on the wording exactly, but Stalker would be a summon to any spot adjacent to your opponent's awareness, but be invisible to the opponent. Not sure if that's a thing in Genesis, but if there's a way for a summon to be not interacted with by the champion, that'd be great. I think other summons could still interact with Stalker. Okay, so the flavor of it would be the Stalker follows the champion around until some such time as they reveal themselves, as they are replaced by the summon in the owner's hand.
So essentially, what this is, you really got to go back to Stalk. So Stalk was the one where you get to beckon something adjacent to the opponent. Yeah. So with this one, I would actually say, I guess it's sort of the same thing. But really, what you're going to do in this type of play is you're going to drop a Stalker on the opponent and then immediately play another summon. So I don't know if at that point, Stalker being a champion summon is almost ever relevant.
Mm-hmm.
In this instance,
and having 1 health and 0 attack, I would almost want this to have some sort of passive effect that's constantly annoying your opponent. So this idea of like champions in Stalker's awareness cannot play attack abilities or something like that. But the idea that as long as it's stalking you, you're so afraid that you can't perform normally. That ups its tier. You can make a special beckon ability that says beckon stalker on a spot adjacent to an enemy facing like it doesn't necessarily have to be outside of their awareness, right? It could still be in the
Yeah.
awareness. So I'm looking at 3 abilities: a special type of beckoning that allows you to place it adjacent to your opponent, something like spectral so that it can't be targeted and it's kind of a nuisance, and then third, something like fear, which is now stopping your opponent from doing something. So I'm looking at this as a souped up fearmonger, but instead of targeting summons, it targets champions.
Okay, so Jeffrey, it's basically the stop world needed to be a summon so you can move it around. Okay, gotcha. Like adding a cost to something they cast, even yes, that's what Sid was talking about. Another way to honestly to make it so that the champions can't hurt it, you can literally say prevent all damage dealt to this summoned by champions.
Yeah.
And this gets around the fact of like, because the issue with Spectral is they can still turn around and just cast a spell and go boop and kill it.
Yeah.
This way, it's still going to be there, and as long as you have that annoying effect, and I think the flavor with Stalker, if it's just following you and it's being annoying, is much more flavorful than I'm stalking you and now I'm somebody else.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
So
where the stock enchantment works more like the stalking you wanted before. This one you've created a whole new thing, which is still cool.
Yeah. I like the concept. I love the flavor you're trying to go with. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're breaking it into 3 abilities: a special type of beckon, a way to make it that it like you could do what we have fire resistance. You could have something like protection, champion protection, or something like that as a secondary ability, saying all damage dealt to this summoned by champions is prevented, or prevent all damage dealt to this summoned by champions. And then the third ability is your stalk ability, some nuisance ability. Yeah. All right. Good luck. I like this. I'm looking forward to seeing this updated.
All right. Next page over is the second one he requested was the slog.
The slog. Okay. Enchantment, action, enchant, or attend. Whenever you or your opponent spend energy to cast spells, the caster gains life equal to half that cost rounded down. If this were one-sided, it would be too powerful at these costs, but I think making the opponent gain life as well does balance it a bit better. It also helps to lengthen some of the game times. Actually, no. I love how there's this internal dialogue going on. All right. So, first off, whenever you or your opponent spend energy to cast spells, there are very, very few spells that cost energy. Mystical Spear. Can you think of any?
Sorry, I'm looking around for the next slides. I figured out what was going on.
Spells that cost energy. So, what I think is this is a remnant of Magic's wording. I just assume that you play Magic prior to playing Genesis. So spells mean something very specific in Genesis. So I would say whenever you or your opponent spend energy to play an ability, the champion playing that ability gains life equal to half that energy cost rounded down. Now, I don't know why you're having it, but that's up to you. It's an interesting concept. I'm still now there's the issue of this does become actually insanely one-sided, because if you're playing against a caster or a summoner and they're not spending a lot of energy, and if you're putting this in your deck, I'm assuming you've built your deck around it. So imagine you have 4 of these on the table. They all stack. So every time you spend energy, to say you play a card that costs 2 energy, each one of those are going to give you 1 health back. So now you're gaining 4 health for every 2 energy you spend. But if your opponent's playing a deck that does not spend energy, then all of a sudden you're constantly gaining health and your opponent's not gaining anything. That's going to make it insanely one-sided. Then if you realize your opponent does spend energy, you just won't play this card. So there is this... It does kind of make this card a little one-sided. I think there's way too many edge cases where this would be a bit on the broken side. I don't know. Those are my initial concerns with this concept, and some of the things I might pitch to the committee on should we move forward with this or not.
Work on the concept more. It would be my suggestion, because there's something to this, but I don't want to create your card.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We gotta go to.
Did I miss something? I think I missed something. So the opponent gains. Okay. I missed this bottom comment. So whenever energy is spent, the opponent gains life. That's very different. That I think is a lot more interesting. But then, why would you play it? The issue with that concept is now you're depending that your opponent's going to be running a deck where they're spending a lot of energy. So if they are, great, you're in the benefit. If they're not, now you spent 6 cards in your 6G slot that aren't going to give you any benefits, and then it hinders you from putting energy costing cards into your own deck. So there's a lot of situations where this card now becomes a very niche edge case card. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying it's a little bit more difficult to maneuver around in that.
Now, where I'll say this, it's very interesting and where I really do like it, and some of you may not know what this is, but Sid will know what this is, in a fatigue deck.
Yeah. That becomes silly.
Because now you don't care if your opponent has got life. But let's move on. We got to move on.
Right.
Slide 11. Slide 11.
Okay. Just to explain fatigue a little bit, think of Brook Naga with that card, and it does kind of seem more interesting. All right. I don't have slide numbers, so
okay.
What's the card name?
Dead Man's Gambit or Razor's Edge. It's all together.
I wish I had slide numbers. Okay, I'm near the beginning.
Near the beginning? Let me see. So it is 7 slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 slides up from pictures. And then it's a bit hard to find in the text, but it's there.
This strategy did not go as planned. All right, so you're saying 7 slides out from the pictures, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It is underneath Indomitable Challenger. Underneath it.
Chain Lasher?
Underneath that one. It's there, right underneath that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, there's no space between this deal 2 electric damage and then Dead Man's Gambit. All right, we're there. All right, Dead Man's Gambit or Razor's Edge. Chaos spell awareness is... Oh, that forward triangle. Cool. Already excited. 15 or discard a card at random. Interesting. Deal damage equal to the discarded card's chi to the champion casting the spell and all targets in this card's awareness. So cleaning up the wording, it would be you deal damage equal to this discarded card's chi to you and everything in this card's awareness, and everything in card name's awareness, because you're playing it, you can reference yourself. what's there to talk about? It's cool. I like the concept.
It's cool, yeah. I
The
agree.
only thing is the discarded card at random. That part might be. I would rather take that out of the cost of the card and throw that into the ability.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, so just have it cost 15 aura, and then the ability says discard a card at random, you deal damage equal to yada yada
Yeah, yeah.
yada.
That also helps you if they evade. You don't get that discard effect.
Yeah, you don't
You
actually
get 2
burn
for
out your
0
life dice.
pretty much. Oh, I should go start hunting the next card. Oh no.
What's the next one?
Give me a second. Jeffrey talked a lot. I've lost the comments.
Jeffrey!
Oh no. I need to bring this up. Just go to the next one and just read the next one while I go look.
All right, we're talking about Hellscape or Iron Maiden. Okay, affiliation chaos, 6 HP alteration, swift trap, nice mill 4, so 4 energy. Deal 2 dark damage when placed. Immediate if a champion leaves the location or moves onto this location. Deal 3 dark damage. So it's a trap that works out. So you throw it underneath someone. So the first ability, so you have a trap, then you have a trigger that says when, let's say Iron Maiden enters the arena, it deals 2 dark damage to everything else on the same location as it, and then it has immediate if a champion leaves this location or moves onto this location, deal 3 dark damage. I'm not a huge fan of it being immediate. So I understand it feels very tempting to put immediate onto a lot of cards because it immediately ups the value of that card. But we're trying to reserve immediate for moments where it's absolutely necessary. This card is not absolutely necessary because it's you should give your opponent an opportunity to get out. There should be if they're at 3 health and they're sitting on this card, there should be a way for them to get out of it compared to just, I'm just kind of screwed, right? So give them a chance to respond to things. Make it a trigger. It'll be just as good. Now for traps, we tend to keep them at 1, 2, or 3 health. But that's a whole other conversation. Besides that, it's a fine concept. Do you have another one for us, Alex?
Okay. Yeah. I guess I should have figured out where you are, and you're not going far. You are currently at. Where are you currently at? You're currently on.
The slide right after Dead Man's Cabin.
Okay, go 1, 2, 3, 4. Go up 4. If I may have lost your comments, so the latest comment I have is Shahan's, and the ones he wants us to check out is Arterial Strike, Siege Cannon, Loyal Repeater, Preemptive Strike, and Bounce Spell. Hopefully they're in order. If they're not, sorry, Shahan.
I'm on Loyal Repeater.
You found a Loyal Repeater. Okay, we'll start there.
All right, so affiliation acts on X health, awareness front. So the awareness is forward, not front. But yeah, the diagram helps with that. Swift, quick beckon 4x, meaning 4 times x. Where's x being defined? Swift, attack 3, exert, continuous between worlds. Cannot be beckoned from. Can be beckoned from the arena.
This might be a card that required notes to understand, which means it was not copied.
Okay, so you define X.
Saying
okay,
you define
so, just say I want X to be 3, then I'm paying
4
times 3. I'm paying 12 aura for summon with 3 health. Swift. So 12 aura. I'm getting a 3 health, 3 attack summon. And then continuous between worlds means can be beckoned from the arena. I assume that means you can re-beckon it if it's low at health. Like, it doesn't have to be beckoned from your thought. It can be beckoned from the arena.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going for.
Okay, so
yeah, I'm guessing.
Cool concept on the health. The only issue is that our formula is not linear, it's exponential. So as you move further and further away from your cheese intended health spot, it becomes exponentially more expensive to pay for that extra health. So going at 6 chi, 4 health is on point, 5 or 3 health is a little bit off, but trying to go to 6 or 7 health, you're really pushing the card. It's
Well, I go
so
there. I can go to 10 health.
yeah, I
I
know.
go to
Like
20 health.
4 times X. If I wanted to do 10 health, that's 40 aura. It's
Yeah.
not insanely out there, right? Especially since it's a quick beckon. You can recall the summon. Actually, I would just constantly keep it at 1 health, and if it was about to die, I would just beckon it for 4 aura.
That's true.
Right?
That's pretty interesting. Like,
only...
yeah, I feel like if you remove the X from this aspect and just the rest of it as a core, it's very interesting.
So the one area where I have issues with it, but it's not anything I hold against Shahan for designing it this way, is that so summons are completely independent from champions. So the between world mechanic is kind of flavor wise interesting for me. The summon has to have a way to reconnect back to the champion. So it would be like the target. So the champion who beckoned card name may play card name's quick beckon ability at any time or something like that. The wording becomes confusing. If you want to know why this wording, or like how this wording can get really confusing, try to properly read what the decoy ability on Chrono Walker says in the Welcome to Jailara format versus the beta versus the alpha. Every single time it got errated because of this whole entire summons are independent from champions. Anyways, cool concept. I got nothing against it. I just think there's some tweaking that needs to be done.
Okay. Next on the Shahan list, which should be either up or down, I don't know where we are, is I'm just gonna say them all. Arterial Strike, Siege Cannon, Preemptive Strike, and Bounce Spell. Wow, Loyal Repeater was very far off from the rest.
Yeah.
I found Preemptive Strike is 6 underneath pictures. Siege Cannon's 5 below pictures. Arterial Strike is 4 below pictures.
I got Preemptive Strike. And then I guess I'm just going backwards from there. So let's start with Preemptive Strike. So Chaos Spell Awareness is forward. Burst. Area Dark Range Attack 3. 6 energy. You deal 3 range dark damage to everything in card name's awareness. What's Burst?
So Burst, I believe, is the ability from before. You can only play this if you double move this turn. You can only play this. I think you can only play this if you double move this turn. And I don't think it's like it doesn't follow phases, so you literally have to do it at the end phase of the turn you double moved, I believe.
Okay, interesting.
So essentially, it's swift, but it's not broken where you can just spam it all on an opponent's turn. I think that is the intention of Burst.
Okay, only if the stack is empty. my initial thoughts. So I appreciate here the goal is to try to create a new speed. Uh, I'll give you the forewarning. I was very hesitant to even put immediate into the game. Um, if anything, I would like to reduce the amount of speeds that we have. But again, it's not solely my decision. The card's clean. It's just burst is a new thing. Uh, I don't know if this is because of how the information was pulled onto the slides or not, but having a description of what burst is, I think, would help chances.
Yeah. Right. And I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
So
I blame Alex for that. Going backwards then. So frontline healer, I see siege cannon was one of them, right?
Siege. Yeah.
Okay, affiliation chaos, 6G, 3 HP awareness is front. Action beckon 16. Swift cast, don't know the cost, sure. Beckon, cast, deal 3 damage to a target in card name's awareness. Activate this ability only once per turn. Question for Alex and Sid. Would making this unable to move still can rotate? Satisfy the too much on one card failure criteria. Okay, I see. It's kind of like an attacking. The idea is it's kind of like an attacking turret, so you could rotate it and shoot. No, I think if that's the purpose, you're putting it on there for a reason, right? Like the flavor flows together. So I think the idea of giving it stationary or like a pseudo stationary where it can't move but can still rotate would work. But so is the idea that the Swift ability does not exert it?
Yes, I think that's what it is here. It doesn't exert, but it can only be used once in the turn. It looks like that's the intention.
I'm just trying to figure out why not just give it exert.
It allows you to use it outside of it having to have a turn. So if it has exert, then as once it's exerted, it can no longer use that attack, and your opponent can always play around it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's my perception of it.
Yeah, that's what he's mentioning in the chat.
Darren, submissions are Friday is when the submissions end.
Yes. So my thinking is, so there's a reason why I didn't go with you, like why exert tokens even exist in the game to begin with. Sometimes rounds get really confusing and you need to indicate what's gone, what hasn't. I remember like in the early days, people actually questioned me and were like, are exert tokens even relevant? And I was like, no, trust me, they are. But when the game started getting more complex and rounds start taking 5 or 7 minutes, people forget what summons have gone and what summons haven't. You will still need a way to indicate that this ability has been played. And then you're adding in a whole other token to do something the game already has supplied you with. You just want to create a special edge case. I mean, if this is the intention of how you want the card to go through, then it comes down to a conversation on the committee and if this is valid. I have nothing directly against the card, and if it's the best way to get the flavor of this card to work, then I'm okay with it. At the end of the day, it needs to be that balance of flavor and mechanic. So I'm not opposed to the idea. I just think in a game that can exert a lot of mental energy to play, it's hard to keep track which abilities have been played once per round and which ones happen. Also, you want to say once per round, not once per turn. Unless you actually mean once per turn, then we have a whole other thing to discuss. Sorry, I'm rambling. Alex, what are your thoughts?
It definitely has to be once per. It definitely has to be once per round.
Yeah.
Definitely not once per turn. No, let's keep moving. Okay, we're gonna move on because I just lost Shahan's comment, so we're gonna move on to Steve. Steve is looking for Spike Tail Drake and Unstable.
No, sorry, I think John said cannibalize and harvest grubs.
That is a newer comment. I'm at comments from 25 minutes ago.
All right, right.
That's why I'm having to jump all the way to the top, then back to guys' messages and back again. Let me find where Steve is. You read one while I go find Steve.
All right, well, we'll talk about cannibalize since I have it on screen, and that was something that was
nice.
brought up. So phage left, right, forward awareness. Oh, adjacent awareness. Okay, that's different. Assuming X's are part of the awareness. Swift, deal 3 damage to one of your summons and cannibalizes awareness. Heal 3 health. If the summon dies, instead heal 5. Yeah, no, that's cool. It's fine. I don't know if it necessarily needs if the summon dies, heal 5 instead. But I mean, if the intention is for you to eat your own summons, then that's cool. I mean, it's interesting. But think about this fact. So unlike other games, Genesis, the resources aren't renewable. It's really hard to get your aura back. So now you spend the aura to beckon that summon. So just say you beckon, cheapest summon is 4 aura. So this card at cheapest is 19 aura. It's not 15. So the cost of the summon always comes into the cost of the ability. The absolute cheapest way is with Combust. But now we're looking at all those other kind of weird edge cases. So keep that in mind when it comes to designing cards like that. All right, Alex, what's the card?
Down three slides.
Submission? Or
the Spike-tailed Drake is Steve, if you want to tell us what the 2 cards you were looking for was. I only remember Spike-tailed Drake, and I've now lost your comment because you guys are just so chatty today. Not a bad thing.
I think we
just next time we do this,
started telling
we've learned a new thing. We're gonna have people PM just me, so I have them separate.
Okay.
Yeah, Spike-tailed Drake was what we requested.
I summon 6G, 4 health, awareness front back. Interesting. Beckon 13, air, earth, attack 4. Cool. So it's dealing both. So stagger is the part that's really pushing it. If a summon or champion is dealt damage by... I don't... Is this like, am I being punked or something? Oh, I am way too tired for this. If a summoner champion is dealt damage by card name this turn, then they rotate the same direction twice and may not rotate until end of round. Swift creature that can defend its front and back and use its tail. Cool, yeah. And wording is fine except for the STD part.
Code name.
Then they rotate the same direction twice. May not rotate. I don't know about if it's necessary to have the may not rotate in turn around. I know it's cool, it's niche, it's solid on that approach, but I think at the same time, what are the ways to get back at you? It's peripheral visions. So they need 2 peripheral visions to counteract this. Not many champions.
So no, they would go back by just double moving, right? They'd just go rotate.
Yeah. But that's after Like
the
if you
attack.
want to lock them into that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be changed. It's
Yeah.
just if I was designing it, I would have taken that part off.
For me, I don't understand why it needs the double rotate.
Yeah, I think just rotate is fine.
Yeah.
Actually, double rotate could be used against you because you can hit the champion, they rotate twice, and then they shoulder throw. You're like, oh, that would be great though. Yeah, if the goal is to
Okay.
lock direction without locking movement, then this is fine. Yeah. I agree with Alex. I don't know if it's necessary to have. I guess with single rotate, they can move twice and then get the summon back within their awareness. But with the double rotate, you can't.
Okay.
So,
Next one is literally the next slide.
submission. Fate submission so far. Fetid Swamp. Alteration Chi 6. Health 4. Action create 16 aura. Continuous Fetid Swamp. While a summon or a champion is around or on Fetid Swamp, they have decay. Cool. I always like the use of decay. Because Alex doesn't like it. Doesn't like the cards that have decay so far. Trigger Nourishing Decay. When a summon or champion loses life due to a decay effect, while around or on this alteration gains that much HP.
So I like the concept of this. I think its power level is way off for its chi. This is a way lower power level card than 6G.
I would the second ability I would actually swing it as Nourishing Death or something like that. And then whenever champion or someone loses life while around or on this alteration gains that much HP. Like, don't make it tailored to the decay. Just whenever they lose life. But the thing is, decay is slow. That's the thing Alex always says to me. Decay is too slow for the pace of this game. But
now you look at Will's card with decay. That's more on my point, my level where I like decay. Because you're doing damage and decay.
Yeah.
And then you're combining it with a reason to have decay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but this thing does have a large enough area of effect. Like, it's 9 spots.
Yes.
It's a decent amount of space.
I'd push it more then. What I would do would add on and things in this area can't heal health or something like that. It's just, for me, it's just way too weak for the 6G slot.
What about if it was a trap?
Yeah, you could add it as a trap.
Because my thinking is traps, we know that, okay, let's look at current card list. We know Call to the Bones is a very heavily favored card. If you can trap your opponent just at the end of the last turn of the round, drop this on them, they will guaranteed get hit 1 because the end of round is just right after. If they're running a Call to the Bones deck or any low summon HP deck, they all decay and this thing heals for a bunch. Yeah, I think if you make it a trap, it at least gets it back into that realm where it's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I'd agree. Then it becomes more of a sideboard card, which is not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially since, yeah. Anyways. All right.
I think we are past our time.
We are.
So we're gonna call it there. If you ask for us to look at something, send me a message on Discord or on Facebook Messenger, which ones we didn't look to, and then I'll take a personal look and I will message you about them. Because you guys were chatting so much, which is a good thing. I just lost half the requests on what to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate so many people coming out to watch. This has definitely been a bit more of a hectic stream than our past ones. Yeah, that was cool. All right, let's flip over to the closing screen. Yeah, actually, something that I was talking to Alex about before the stream started was the fact that it feels crazy that we have gotten past the point where before we would be starting a stream, we're like, oh, no one's watching. Well, let's just do the stream anyways. But now it's getting to a point where almost every week we have a good handful of people who are watching. So I appreciate it so much. Like I love the fact that we have our community come and support us, and you know make putting out content feel a lot more enjoyable on my end. At least I'm not gonna speak for Alex there.
I hate you all. See you next week.
On that note, I'm gonna kill our microphones and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.